Claver. His speech, Who Am I? Doug Claver.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. The question is, who am I? The person standing here before you, I've had a lot of events that have happened in my life that have shaped who I am. Some of them I'm not proud of. The very first few years of my life were difficult. I was in and out of jail. I was caught stealing, breaking and entering. Tried drugs, alcohol, was constantly in fights. And I knew as I came to that next stage in my life that I needed to change. There needed to be a metamorphosis as I went. And so I did that metamorphosis. And that very first day as I stepped out on the playground of that first year of kindergarten,
Oh.
no, that's not right. But isn't that true? Sometimes when we have that question of who we are, we kind of build a facade of who we are. Now, we'll probably tell things about us that are good, but maybe not the bad things, but it's something that we put out there. But the question still is, who am I, really? I'm 6 foot tall, I've got blue eyes. I was born of German Mennonite descent. I have 4 older brothers. There's 13 and a half years difference between myself and my closest brother. Played basketball here in town at a small college. Have 3 children. My daughter is 11. My son Bryce is 10, and I have a son Trey that is 7. Sadly, I've been through divorce. Am I the facts that I've just listed off? Okay, but who am I? I can vividly remember that day. I was 2 years old, and we were at the backyard in the pool of Coach Floyd Eby. My dad had just taken a church in the small town of Coldwater, Michigan, south of Battle Creek. And Coach Floyd Eby was an icon in Coldwater, and the reason was because he is the only person that has ever led the Coldwater Cardinals to a state championship in basketball. So everybody knew him, and we were there, and they were having a youth group party, and I don't remember all the exact details, but for some reason, 2 years old, and I was picked up and I was thrown into the middle of the pool. Never been in a pool before. And I could still picture that water rushing over my head. And as I was gasping in the water, of course, water is coming in, and as I come up thrashing and go back down again, I can look out in the pool and I see feet and legs and everything that's going there. Somebody actually realized I didn't know how to swim and grabbed me. To this day, it has affected me. Still don't swim. I'm starting to try to learn how to swim. But having kids and watching them go out into the water who are good swimmers, but still if something were to happen, be able to be helpless. About 8 years later, another traumatic event happened in my life. I was actually abused by somebody from our church. Caused a lot of self-worthlessness in my own life. That has really affected where I've been, and I've had to work through that process. So are those events, those tragedies, who I am? Yeah. But really, who am I? Am I a facade? Am I facts? Am I tragedies, good or bad, things that happen to me? These I'll describe, but do they really define who I am? Who I am is, as I like to call it, an image bearer. I'm an image bearer of my parents, but more importantly, I'm an image bearer of the designer, the creator of it all. And as that image bearer, there are things that are worth to who I am, the definition of me going forward. And that's important, because those are the things that help us get through life. And the important thing is that we all are image bearers. And I think if we really believe that worth, we are going to think differently, we're going to believe differently, we're going to talk differently, we're going to act differently. No more facades, more than just facts, more than the tragedies that happen in our life. All of those will fade in the light of who we really are. And as our relationship builds as Toastmasters, it will bloom. Mr. Joseph.
We'll have a moment of silence now while the watch here.